Right, here we're going to prove that the sum of the nth roots of unity is equal to 0. If we're looking at a sum, okay, we need to be able to show that the first root plus the second root plus the third root plus the fourth root, etc., up to the nth root, adding them together is equal to 0. Now, we've already learned that our complex conjugates all balance each other out, and that's why it equals 0. But with a proof, it is useful to know that our nth roots of unity they actually just differ by a common ratio of W, okay, or omega. So if we've got all of our roots, so 1, then W squared, or W, then W squared, then W cubed, etc., to W n minus 1, or omega n minus 1, what we have is that to get from 1 to W, I multiply by W. And then from W to W squared, I multiply by W. From W squared to W cubed, I multiply by W. So we call this a geometric sequence. And on your formula sheet, you've got the formulas for geometric sequences. Okay, so this is a geometric sequence where my first term, T1, is 1, and my common ratio, so the amount that I have to multiply each term by to get the next term, is just going to be my omega. So the nice thing about defining that is that I can then just use the equation given to me for the sum to n terms. Okay, so Sn is equal to T1 r to the n minus 1 over r minus 1. So that's going to be 1 times omega to the n minus 1 over omega minus 1. Okay, so therefore I know that 1 plus omega squared plus etc. is going to be equal to omega to the n minus 1 over omega minus 1. Okay, but now we learned how to factorize. Okay, and we can rewrite this, I guess. I can multiply both sides by omega minus 1. So omega minus 1 times by 1 plus omega squared plus is equal to omega to the n minus 1. And I know that omega to the n is equal to 1. So we know that with my roots of unity, omega to the n equals 1. So that then means that omega to the n minus 1 must equal to 0. Now I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, what do I want to know that for? Well, if I know that omega to the n minus 1 is equal to 0, that then means, okay, that this thing on the left-hand side is equal to 0. So therefore, omega minus 1 plus omega squared. And that's a null factor law, so therefore the sum of my nth roots of unity, that should be 0, is equal to 0.